Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for May 2022. So on May 15th or 16th, depending on where it is that you're at in the world, we're going to have our full moon, total lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So it's taking place at 12:15 a.m. on the 16th Eastern Standard Time. So again, I'm bad with time zones. I know that, part of the world will be experiencing very late in the day, Sunday on the 15th, while the rest of the world is celebrating this full moon direct potent energy on the very wee hours of Monday, the 16th. Either way, we have a huge transformation coming at us. Yes, this is a full moon, so we're being illuminated to hidden emotions, hidden motives, hidden information that's going to totally change the game. This is a lunar eclipse, which tends to remove, subtract things from our lives. And the eclipse energy means that we are under wild card energy. We are at the mercy of the universe, the divine script that needs to play out in order to get us on the right path that, we should have chosen for ourselves, but we didn't. So now the universe is going to sort us out. So we have to talk about what this Taurus and Scorpio axis is all about. The true nodes of the moon moved into this Taurus and Scorpio axis back in November. For the about year and a half previous to that, we were on the Gemini Sagittarius axis. Now we are on the Taurus and Scorpio axis. So we have to think of Taurus energy. The sun is currently in Taurus. That's why we're having the full moon in Scorpio. The Taurus energy is the bull. It's a fixed energy. It is the earth energy. It is focused on our physical realm. It is focused on the love, the pleasure, the joy in our physical realm that we get from our daily routines, our relationships, the skills and the talents that we have to create resources, the money matters that we have, the dreams, the plans that we have for ourselves here in this physical realm. While the Scorpio energy is a fixed water energy, very emotional, very intuitive, very much outside of this physical realm. It is the alchemizer of the zodiac. It shows us where it is emotionally that we may be too attached to certain physical circumstances, therefore blocking us from actually growing, actually moving forward. So there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, we had our first set of eclipses out of this Taurus and Scorpio axis back in November. We're going to continue with the storyline with these life lessons until October of 2023. We will have another eclipse season this year in the fall. So we want to pay attention to what went down in this eclipse season, because a lot of the things will likely resurface for a second go around next eclipse season. So the sun is in Taurus. We're almost busting out of Taurus season, the bull. Scorpio, the scorpion. What happens? Both are fixated. Both are stubborn. Both are in a rut. Now, the bull will kick the dust up, dig its hoofs into the ground, into the earth, and will charge forward if backed into a corner. The scorpion will 100% strike to kill when intimidated enough and backed into a corner. So we have some very interesting dynamics between the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio. What we have to focus on is what Taurus likes to represent versus what Scorpio represents. Basically, Taurus is the physical form. It is matter. It is what matters to us and the physical matter that we are living in our physical circumstances with. It is worth and value, first of all, within ourselves, second of all, within our relationships, with the skills and the talents that we have, our ability to create resources, our ability to feel safe and secure, self-sustainable, if you will. We're very possessive with this Taurus energy because we want to gain all of the things that we were able to earn, skills, talents, monetary aspects, materialistic items, people, if you will. This Taurus energy is an earth energy, so we're focused on foundations in our physical life. And of course, every foundation that we build in our physical life is based off of the way that we feel towards ourselves. That's why it comes down to self-love. Very focused on self-love, on relationships, on money matters. We have to understand that Venus rules over Taurus energy. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure. Really focused on this physical experience, what brings us happiness and joy and pleasure within the foundations, the relationships, the situations that we form here in this materialistic realm that bring us happiness and joy. What it is that we're building, what it is we're creating, what it is that we're giving birth to. Scorpio, on the other hand, ruled over by Pluto, the great transformer, the god of the underworld that puts us in a situation, painful situation of trauma, of suffering, in order to see the power that we have. Not to stunt us, not to paralyze us, to show us that the light can only exist if darkness exists, and that darkness can only exist if the light exists. Also ruled over by Mars. Mars is the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, even our anger, because anger is a great motivation, a great inspiration, a great catalyst to make some serious changes. So those are two very powerful rulers over Scorpio energy. Scorpio is about death, the destruction of form. It's about shared possessions instead of individual possessions like Taurus energy is. This is about what we share, what we possess with other people. Scorpio energy, because it rules over death, rebirth, renewal, transformation, is about taking the tougher situations in life and changing, transforming, evolving through that pain. Very much about turning pain into power. Scorpio energy is about shadow work, alchemizing the darkness into light, alchemizing that pain into power, alchemizing the hardest, toughest life lessons into something to be proud of. And so when we have this Taurus and Scorpio dynamic, because of course they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel, what you have is a relationship of give and take, of building and destroying, of creation and death, of mine versus yours, of form versus transform. Through this particular axis, these life lessons that we have coming at us hot and heavy until October of 2023, we will see an absolute destruction of our physical realms and what it is that we've created if it is not within our alignment, within our soul's mission, within our soul's power. This whole life lesson between Taurus and Scorpio energy is to focus on what it is that we've become overly attached to here in this physical realm. So that may mean material possessions, may mean your car, your house, could be certain ideas of how it is that you operate in a certain routine, how it is that you treat yourself. Definitely focused on relationships. And money matters. Many of us are not tapping into the natural skills and talents that we've been blessed with. Many of us are very connected to depending on other people. This Tauran energy is here to show us where it is that we need to pull back from relying on other people and become a little bit more self-sufficient. Where it is in our life that things are unstable and living in extremes so that we can provide ourselves with stability, with safety, with security. Scorpio energy needs emotionally to trigger us, to put us through pain, to put us through suffering, to put us through trauma, to strip us away from the physical attachments that we become overly attached to, so much so that we don't know who it is that we are without them. Many people, if they lose their job, they feel like they don't know who they are because many people identify themselves with what it is that they do. God forbid you lose your house, you lose your car. That is a status here in this physical form of worth, of value, of monetary possession, that if you don't know who it is that you are without this physical form, without these physical attachments, you will essentially See a death within yourself because your world gets taken away from you. The Scorpio energy is here to show us, because it's a water sign, where it is that emotions can transform us, can alchemize us into a state of power if we recognize the power that we have by being detached from the physical form. This doesn't feel good, right? This is, many people have their awakening because their physical realms fall apart. The relationship, the marriage falls apart. They lose their job. Health and wellness just falls out. All of these physical circumstances that many of us have built our identity on get stripped away. Who are you without these things? Are you just a nobody because you lost your job and your marriage fell apart and you don't have the nicest car or the nicest things, or you're struggling financially? Does that mean that you are a nobody? Because the Scorpio energy is here to transform you into your spirit power, into your energetic power. But we have to get our physical realm shook up for many of us to even kind of come over to the spiritual side of life. So we have a lot going on underneath this eclipse energy. And let's start with the fact that, Taurus and Scorpio, fixed signs. So Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, y'all are feeling this energy way more than the other signs because you are a fixed sign. Especially if you have any planetary placements in the 20 to 30 degree of these signs, you're definitely feeling the squeeze. And this is a very powerful and intense shift, transformation, rebirth for you, while the nodes of the moon are on this Taurus and Scorpio axis. Now, elemental energy speaking, this is actually an earth dominant event supported by water. We've had a lot of earth, water dominant events with the moons over the last little bit because, of course, earth energy is our physical circumstances. Water energy is our spiritual circumstances. And just like the waves consistently crash upon the earth will eventually erode to that consistency of our emotions constantly changing, whittling down the shell of the physical form in which we've taken in order to unleash our individual spiritual power, which is the magic within us. So we got a lot going on. If you are a Moon Guide subscriber, download your Moon Guide. It's up. It's available for you to download. If you're not, you can download it, a one-time thing off of my website. Either way, the Moon Guide walks you through the shadow work and each of the individual aspects that are contributing to the overall lessons that we are supposed to be learning here under this full moon eclipse energy. One of the key factors that we got going on here is that this full moon is harmonizing with Mars, which rules over the moon in Scorpio, and Neptune and Pluto. Now, Mars and Neptune are both in Piscean energy, and Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn. This is also putting us at odds with Mr. Saturn, Mr. Karma himself. And what I find interesting is that we have a lot of powerful placements with the ruler of Scorpio energy, Mars and Pluto, harmonizing under this full moon energy. Mars, of course, trying to help us define what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we have to unleash our inner warrior in order to fight for, our passions, our desires, using our anger, our aggression to clearly define the dreams and the vision that we are actually fighting for. Neptune, of course, is dreamy. It's our soul self. It's soul contracts in the Piscean energy that not only is the metaphysical realm in our intuition, in our higher selves, but also likes to wrap up old systems, old cycles that are preventing us from truly moving on. We're having this full moon lunar eclipse in a retrograde. We have to look back. We have to clean up the mess from the past. We have to remove the emotional and mental blockages that are preventing us from aligning with our highest self. And Pluto, the other ruler over this Scorpio energy, is retrograde in Capricorn, making us face the innermost parts of ourself that are damaging, that are destructive, that are sabotaging to us. Basically, it's the unconscious part of ourselves that block our own blessings. And when we come to that realization, we can turn that pain into power. We can turn that darkness into light. We can turn that unconscious behavior and pattern into a conscious pattern and behavior so that we have control over what it is that our unconscious selves is attracting to us. But again, we are squaring conflict, tension with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who rules over foundation systems and structures. He likes us to go low and slow to really, really let us know whether or not we've learned the lesson. That's why many of us are frustrated, because we're not seeing the kind of change, the kind of transformation that we want to see in a timely manner. Things are a lot slower for us right now. And again, I've been talking about the fact that the inner transformation in our psyche and our heart space and our soul space needs to happen first before we're going to see the physical manifestations of the inner work in which we've already done. What I also find interesting is that there are 13 different aspects taking place under this moon. Most of them are positive. We do have some negative ones. But 13, as you know, we just had Friday the 13th, which is a very, very lucky number, a lucky time for manifestation, a divine time, especially when we tap into the goddess energy, Venus, that is still the ruler of this Taurus season. So we have a lot of positive things happening for us, not to us. We have a lot of negative things happening for us, not to us. And of course, the eclipse energy is just the universe picking up Earth as a snow globe and shaking us very readily so that we're very confused, we're very disoriented, so that we become raw and vulnerable and more open and adaptable to the changes that are 100% coming at us. So one thing I would like you to kind of concentrate on is what in your life is dying? What is ending? What is closing? What is literally just in your face trying to scream at you for you to let go of? Because that is where the magic is at. We have to let these elements go. We have to let them die. We have to let them end. We have to close the door on them in order for us to have the space in our lives to actually build, create, and give birth to the new elements that will replace the things that we're currently letting go of. If you haven't listened to the Ascension forecast for this week already, I'm going to recommend that you do so as well, because I went on a little bit of a rant about the give and take process of Taurus and Scorpio energy, what it is that we are rebirthing. We are in a reinvention, rebranding state of inventing ourselves, rebirthing ourselves, renewing ourselves. But that comes from things, from elements in our lives being taken away. Scorpio energy, in order for us to have the space to build and create, give birth to new elements. Taurus energy. There is a power that we have to find within Scorpio energy in order for us to build a physical reality that is in alignment with our soul space. Taurus energy. So there is a lot of cha-cha-chaing. There is a little bit of a dance that we're doing. And we have to understand that full moons like to intensify, like to illuminate the hidden realms of our emotions, of our thoughts, of our unconscious, of our soul space. And the Scorpio energy acts like a little bit of a volcano bubbling up, ready to explode. Many of us have been trying to keep our emotions under wraps, under the surface. Many of us need to get real, drop the mask. Many of us need to let these emotions out. Take this boiling point as your opportunity to cleanse yourself. Water energy is very cleansing, but you got to move the energy. You got to move the emotions. You got to release it. You got to purge it. You got to let it out. You got to let it go. Very much the Scorpio theme. In order for us to kind of lighten the vibe, to get a different perspective on what is worthy of our time, energy, and tension, what we truly value, what it is that makes us feel safe, what it is that makes us feel secure, that is very much the Taurus energy. So we have a lot of back and forth that we need to do, a lot of ebb and flow. a lot of feeling very stuck in our physical circumstances, in order for us to feel back into a corner so that we can break down and have a breakthrough, recognizing that we are not our physical circumstances. We are not our materialistic possessions. We are not our relationships. We are not our careers. We are not our money matters. We are spirit. We are soul. We are the essence of what makes this human experience. But again, the process that we're going through right now is realizing that the realities that we're currently living in were built off of ego instead of soul. And that's why we're disconnected from them. That's why we are not feeling comfortable in them. That's why we are feeling like everything is happening to us, not realizing that the universe is shaking us up in the most beautiful way to recognize that things are happening for us. There needs to be a death. There needs to be an ending. There needs to be a closure. There needs to be a space cleared out and provided to us in order for us to build again.